Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the lecture number 4, which is the last one in the topic of the air, which is the subtopic of the environment and atmosphere in the subject of chemistry O levels. So concentrate yourself. We are going to start. The first topic in the lecture is air pollution. A number of the compounds result in cause atmosphere pollution. Table below shows some common air pollutants and their sources. So here are the air pollutants, here are the sources, and here are the effects. So look now, carbon dioxide is the first one that we are going to read. The sources are it is the greatest pollutant by mass, produced by the burning of the fossil fuel. So it is mainly produced by the burning of the fossil fuel, and it is the greatest by proportion into the atmosphere. It will alter the Earth's climate by allowing worldwide temperatures to increase through the greenhouse effect, because carbon dioxide actually absorbs the temperature, so that's why the Earth's temperature is increasing. The next pollutant is carbon monoxide. The sources are incomplete combustion of the carbon containing compounds, for example petrol, coal, oil and gas, and the effects are a poisonous gas that binds with the hemoglobin molecules. So actually it makes bonds with the hemoglobin molecule, preventing it from carrying oxygen in the blood. The next pollutant is sulfur dioxide. The sources are burning of the fossil containing sulfur compounds, for example coal and oil, and volcanic eruptions. So these are the sources of the sulfur dioxide, and its effects are dissolves in the rainwater to form acid rain. Acid rain causes erosion of the steel and concrete structures, buildings. So any structures and buildings which are made of the steel and concrete are corroded due to the rainwater that contains sulfur dioxide. Deaths of the forest due to increased acidity in the soil, and deaths to aquatic lives due to lowered pH levels in the lakes and the streams. So these are the effects of the sulfur dioxide. The next pollutant that we are going to read is the oxides of the nitrogen. Its sources are cars exhaust, high temperature combustion of the fuel in internal combustion engines, and lighting activity. High temperature causes nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere to react. So these are the two sources of the oxides of the nitrogen. So when car exhaust, high temperature combustion of the fuel internally, so creating oxides of the nitrogen, and secondly the lighting activity. So these are the two sources, and here are the effects. Dissolves in rainwater to form acid rain, responsible for the erosion of the buildings, deaths to the forest and the lakes, catalyst for the photochemical formation of the ozone. So ozone layer is depleting because of this pollutant. Okay, the next pollutant is the lead compound, and here are the sources. Car exhaust, combustion of the leaded petrol, and effects are causes lead poisoning that can lead to brain damage, especially in young children. So if the person inhale the air containing lead compounds, so the brain can be dead in a short period of the time. The next pollutant is unburned hydrocarbons. The sources are car exhaust, incomplete combustion of the petrol in internal combustion engines, leakage from the petrol tank, and the effects are some hydrocarbons are toxic. For example, benzene is a carcinogen. These toxic and carcinogenic chemicals can disrupt healthy cell growth in small children. Okay, the next pollutant that we are going to read is the methane. Sources are bacterial decay of the vegetable matter. So when vegetable matter got rotten, the methane gas is produced, and here are the effects. greenhouse gas causes increase in the global temperature. The next pollutant is ozone, and the sources are photochemical reaction, and the effects are react with unburned hydrocarbons to form photochemical smog, which causes respiratory problem. So the persons who inhale in ozone gas normally have respiratory problems. They cannot respire properly. They feel trouble in inhaling the oxygen. Here is an exam tip for you people. Carbon monoxide is an air pollutant that is commonly asked for in the examination for the source of the pollution. So concentrate yourself. This is the mistake which normally students done in the paper. Pupils are expected to give the answer as incomplete combustion of the compounds containing carbon. So this is the incomplete combustion of the compounds containing carbon. So this is containing carbon, but the students normally give answer incomplete combustion. So this is improper answer, incomplete answer. So paper checker will not give you a number for this answer, as that would imply incomplete combustion of any material. So if you give answer incomplete combustion, it can be of any compound. So you have to give the answer incomplete combustion of carbon containing compounds. So this is the answer how carbon monoxide is produced. And here is the reaction that produce. So one important reaction in the catalytic converter is given in the equation. So carbon monoxide is converted into carbon dioxide, which is already present in the atmosphere. So this is the process through catalytic converter, how pollutant can be prevented. Here is our question. Molecules present in the car exhaust fumes include carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and water. So these are the pollutants which are present in the car fuel. Which of these molecules are present in unpolluted air? So in unpolluted air, you can see nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and water vapors are already present in the air. Either it is polluted or unpolluted. So in unpolluted, these three things are present. So nitrogen is unreactive, carbon dioxide is useful for photosynthesis, and water is harmless liquid. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous, colorless, and odorless gas that causes death. The next thing that we are going to read is the reducing air pollution. Incomplete combustion of the petrol in car engines produces carbon monoxide, unburned hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides. So these are the pollutants which are produced when vehicle uses the fuel. Catalytic converters are fitted to cars to convert these toxic gases into harmless gases before allowing them to release into the atmosphere. So this is the function of the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter converts carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, unburned hydrocarbons into the burned hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxide into nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen, which is already present in the atmosphere. In the converter, redox reaction convert nitrogen oxide to nitrogen, carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide, and unburned hydrocarbons to carbon dioxide and water. The catalyst helps to dissociate nitrogen oxide into nitrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. So here is the equation. So nitrogen monoxide is converted into nitrogen atom, and when nitrogen atoms react with each other, so nitrogen gas will be produced. Oxygen oxidizes carbon monoxide to form carbon dioxide. So here is the catalytic converter's function. So carbon monoxide react with oxygen to be converted into carbon dioxide. And oxygen oxidizes unburned hydrocarbons to carbon dioxide and water according to the following reaction. So unburned hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and water, which are harmless, which are already present in the air. Okay, if leaded petrol is burnt, Lead compounds are also released, which are very dangerous, so into the atmosphere. So to prevent this kind of the pollutant, this problem is solved by using the unleaded petrol, which is very common in the modern world now. Power stations generate electricity by burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. The sulfur in these fossil fuels is converted to sulfur dioxide. So here you can see now how the poisonous gases are produced in the power stations or the any station which use actually fossil fuels. So sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, these gases are produced. Carbon dioxide gas also. So carbon dioxide gas, sulfur dioxide gas, and nitrogen dioxide gas are produced, which actually go into the atmosphere and mixes with the cloud water to make the acid rain. So look now, power station generates electricity by burning fossil fuel like coal, oil, and gas. The sulfur in these fossil fuels is converted to sulfur dioxide. So here is the process of producing sulfur dioxide. The sulfur dioxide reacts with oxygen in the atmosphere to form sulfur trioxide, and then this sulfur trioxide reacts with the rainwater to form sulfuric acid. So because of the presence of the sulfuric acid in the rainwater becomes acid. Besides sulfuric acid, nitrous acid and nitric acid also contributes to make the rainwater acidic. The high temperature in the car engines enables nitrogen and oxygen to react to form nitrogen monoxide, which is present in the car exhaust fumes. So here is the nitrogen monoxide. So when nitrogen monoxide then react with the oxygen in the atmosphere to form nitrogen dioxide, and then it will be mixed in the rainwater. So look now, here is the nitrogen dioxide that has been made. The nitrogen dioxide dissolves in the rainwater to form nitrous and nitric acid. So this is the nitric acid and this is nitrous. So these are the things, these are the acids due to which the rainwater becomes acidic. Acid rain increases the acidity of the water in rivers and lakes. So how this can be reduced? The acidity of the rainwater. So look now, calcium carbonate can be used to reduce this acidity. So here is the calcium carbonate that is actually the reducing the acidity, because acidity is due to the presence of the H plus ions. Calcium carbonate is also used to remove sulfur dioxide in the flue gas. Desulfurization, this is called. So powdered limestone is blown into the combustion chamber where it decomposes into lime and carbon dioxide. So look now, the calcium carbonate is converting into the lime and the carbon dioxide. The lime combines with the sulfur dioxide to form calcium sulfide. So this is the process how we can reduce the acidity of the acid rain. The next topic that we are going to read is the ozone layer. Ozone layer exists naturally in the upper atmosphere, approximately 25 kilometers in altitude. So the ozone layer absorbs ultraviolet radiation. So this is the function of the ozone layer, which are very dangerous. Ultraviolet radiations are very dangerous for the living things on the earth. Ultraviolet radiation is harmful as it can cause skin cancer. Hence, the ozone layer acts as a screen to prevent this harmful high energy ultraviolet radiation from penetrating the Earth's surface. The ozone layer is now being depleted by the reactions with chlorine. So this is the thing which the humans are actually producing in more and more quantity, which is actually responsible for the depleting of the ozone layer. So look now, ozone layer is being depleted by the reaction with chlorine from chlorofluorocarbons used in the aerosols, refrigerators, and cleaning solvents. So the humans are making more and more CFCs, that is called chlorofluorocarbon. So in chlorofluorocarbon, this chlorine is actually reacting with the ozone to make it deplete. Chlorofluorocarbons are very stable and inert organic compounds that contain carbon, So this is the carbon, fluorine and chlorine. So carbon, fluorine and chlorine. This is called CFCs, or full form is chlorofluorocarbon. For example, dichlorofluoromethane, that is CCl2F2. So this is the compound which the humans are making for more and more industrial uses, which is actually depleting the ozone layer. CFCs are used as refrigerators, aerosol propellants, and industrial solvents. So here are the uses of the CFCs that the humans are using. The CFCs rise to the upper atmosphere where high energy radiation breaks carbon chlorine bonds to release reactive chlorine atoms. So when the chlorine atoms are released, they react with the ozone to make it deplete. The chlorine atoms attack and destroy ozone molecules, causing a depletion of the ozone layer. Thus, an ozone hole is gradually being formed, through which the ultraviolet rays are now coming to the Earth's surface. The next thing that we are going to read is the carbon dioxide. Air contains about 0.04% carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. It helps to keep the earth warm. It is essential for photosynthesis in the plants. And here are the physical properties of the carbon dioxide. It is colorless. It is slightly soluble in water, forming a weakly acidic solution. It is denser than air. It puts out fires. And it turns lime water milky. So this is the test which is being used for the presence of the carbon dioxide. The next we are going to read is the carbon cycle. In the atmosphere, carbon exists in the form of the carbon dioxide. Animals and plants are made up of the essentially carbon compounds. So carbon compounds are very important for the living things. The carbon in animals are derived from plants. So this is the point to be noted. Animals derive carbon compounds from the plants which the animals have eaten. The carbon in plants, so look now how the other living creatures, that is the plants, how they derive carbon from the atmosphere. The carbon in the plants are derived from the carbon dioxide in the air, which plants convert to food by photosynthesis. So here is the process of the photosynthesis, how the plants convert carbon dioxide into carbon compounds. So that is the carbohydrate. The carbon in the animals and the plants is then returned to the air by respiration as carbon dioxide. So we, the living things, the humans and the animals, when we inhale air into us, and when we exhale, carbon dioxide is present in the exhale process. So that actually go into the atmosphere, which the plants then use. The bacterial decomposition of the dead bodies of the animals and plants also returns carbon to the air in the form of the carbon dioxide. So this is an other process how carbon dioxide is again going to the air. So when the dead bodies of the animal and plants decompose, so the carbon compounds convert into the carbon dioxide and go into the atmosphere. Fossil remains of the marine organisms and plants are converted into petroleum and coal. The combustion converts the carbon in the fossil fuel into carbon dioxide. So this is the process how carbon recycle into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide dissolved in the oceans is converted by sea creatures into calcium carbonate, seashells, chalks, and limestones. And figure below shows the carbon cycle. And here you can see the carbon cycle, how carbon cycle into the atmosphere. So look now. So here is the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this carbon dioxide is used in the photosynthesis process by the plants to make oxygen, and carbon is produced, carbon in the plants. So then these plants are eaten by the living things, that is humans and the animals, and carbon is derived from the plants into the living things. So when this carbon is in the animals in the form of the shells and rocks, this is converted into the chalk and limestone and other carbonate rocks, and from here it is again go into the atmosphere in the form of the carbon dioxide. Okay, when the living creatures exhale, look now, the carbon cycle, they are producing carbon dioxide, so decay and respiration. So here are the decomposition of the dead. So again, carbon dioxide go into the atmosphere. So look now, again process. So carbon dioxide dissolves in the oceans to make the shells in the form of the chalks and the limestones. And here are the power stations, or the stations which are using the fossil fuels, burning fossil fuels. So carbon dioxide go into the atmosphere. So this is the carbon cycle, how carbon rotate into the atmosphere. The next thing that we are going to read is the greenhouse effect. Heat energy from the sun reaches the earth and is radiated back into the space, keeping the temperature of the earth constant. So this is a natural process. So heat from the sun reaches the earth and is radiated back into the space, so keeping the temperature of the earth's constant. So this was the natural process, but due to the human activities, this balance is disturbed now. Due to increased human activities, massive amount of the number of the greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide from the combustion of the fossil fuel, methane from the rotting of the vegetation, and chlorofluorocarbons from the aerosol propellants and the refrigerators. So these gases are produced because of the human activities. These greenhouse gases absorb the heat energy radiated back from the Earth's surface, acting as the blanket to trap the heat and prevent it from escaping into this space. So these gases not only absorb the gases, but also they actually perform as a blanket which prevent the heat to be radiated back into the space. So as the level of the greenhouse gases steadily increases because of the human activities, the temperature of the surface of the earth is found to be warming up. Global warming will cause the polar ice caps to melt and cause a rise in the sea level, bringing floods to low-lying regions. And Pakistan is most affected because of the weather changing. A change in the global climate, such as the increased rainfalls in some areas and also the increase in the number of the deserts in other areas, that could disrupt the food production. So Pakistan is getting more and more rainfall. So Pakistan is being affected more because of the global warming. And here is an exam tip. Greenhouse effect, if not controlled, will cause lead to polar ice caps melting, resulting in the worldwide floods. So this was the lecture, students. I hope so this will be much more interesting and easy for you to understand and learn now. So read this lecture again, understand it, learn it, and make your notes. Thank you so much.